Hot diggity dog. College football is here today, guys. Welcome into the stream. We have a lot to jump into this Saturday. Tons of college football games going on. And we also have, we're going to look forward to also tonight's UFC fight. And we're also going to look towards tomorrow for the NFL slate. Just kind of take a peek at maybe some player props, anytime touchdown scores. We have a lot to jump into. Let's just kind of get into it. Hopefully you guys were on the stream. When do we make this? This was on, today's the 4th already. So I think it was Wednesday. Was it set? Yeah, it was 7.5K day. But we shared this 3-pick entry over on Underdog on the morning stream. This one cashed, which was lovely. We hit Young, we hit Thomas, we hit Swisher. And then yesterday we shared this one. We shared both these. This Young one's dead. But this one here with Thomas, Shady, and then Chris Rodriguez. So we just need Chris Rodriguez to get less than 28 rushing yards tomorrow. And we're going to cash this 3-pick slip as well. So we're looking pretty good. And a lot of our slips are created using DGF's AI slip generator. You come over to the tools, the AI slip generator right here. And then we're just going to reset the filters. And then if you have accounts or DFS books with Better, Dabble, Flip, PrizePicks, Rebet, and Underdog, then this tool is just automatically going to search and scan all of the available betting lines, all the options that you have on these sports books, find the best plays, and then put them in a slip for you, and then just say, voila. It's pretty simple. So we're going to click Generate right here, and it's just going to tell you that we have currently 26 slips available that we can make. There's going to be some various different slips here, guys. If you wanted to make this 6-pick slip on Underdog, I have kind of retired from playing 6-pick entries. They're very profitable. There's just a lot of variance with them. So I'm just kind of taking a break with them for a while. We'll come back to them. Taking a break. Louis Streak, what's going on, man? Anton Irish, what's going on, guys? Good morning to you, and happy Saturday. Hopefully you guys are having a strong start to your Saturday. I know I am. I'm having a different Saturday today. I'm not actually, normally Saturdays, I try to reserve for, do some fun life activities. Something that's not related to football. So actually today, I'm driving down to Tucson a little bit later this evening as my girlfriend's favorite baseball team is playing in Tucson in a tournament. It's the Mexican Professional League. The Obregon Yaquis, and I am going to watch one of their games against Hermosillo. So I'm going to watch a little baseball, professional Mexican baseball, which will be very interesting because I'll probably be one of the few white guys there. But it'll be a good time, and I'm looking forward to it. So I actually won't be watching too much football or the UFC fights because I know she's really been wanting to go to this, and it's like a baseball tournament down in Tucson, Arizona, where they have like a bunch of the Mexican professional teams are all kind of playing back and forth with each other, some games. So I'm going to catch some baseball tonight. And I totally forgot, we also have game 1 of the divisional series today. We have all teams in action, which is a lot of fun. So this is one of those days, guys. It's going to be a solid one. We got the Cubs and the Brewers starting in about 3 hours, game 1. So again, we talk a lot about arbitrage, and it's all dependent on what's going on in the sports betting calendar. So if you would have talked to me on Thursday or yesterday, not that much going on. Today, a lot going on. Shout out to the Mercury last night too. They gave it their best effort for game 1 of the WNBA Finals. Just couldn't get it done. Here's a 6-pick slip over here on PrizePicks. For those of you that are new, there isn't a way for me to share the link to the slip in the chat if I don't actually bet the slip. So what I'm just doing right now is just kind of chill for a minute, catch up with everyone in the chat here, and then we'll move on from there. Elwin, good morning to you as well, man. I counted 10, 5 of 6 slips on Underdog plus an 06 slip. Already have 2 this month. The variance is wild. Yeah, if you guys are new, or not saying losing streak you're new, but if anyone is new to betting Underdog or PrizePicks, the likelihood that you hit 5 out of 6 picks is a lot higher than you hitting 0 out of 6 picks. So, you hit 5 out of 6, you double your money, but you obviously don't get that massive payout that we really want. So for myself, I've just kind of retreated back to playing a lot of 3-pick slips. You can kind of see here on my Underdog results when I come over here. all these are 3 picks, right? And so it's just 3 pick, 3 pick, 3 pick, 3 pick, right? And then I had a string where I hit 3 in a row. This was my birthday last week, which was great, right? So I've hit 5 slips. I don't know how many, so out of all of these on my screen, looking pretty good. Just playing 3 pick slips. It's kind of my jam right now. Just really preferring to go after those. So we do have one down here. We also have a 2-pick entry on rebet that I'll pull up. Judkins, Young again, and then Williams. So I can't bet collegiate player props, but what I'm going to do is pull up underdog off to the side, and I'm going to grab 2 of these plays, and then I'm just going to fill out the final one. I might look at the Larry model and just do it that way. Judkins did not score a touchdown. This dude is a stud, by the way. And actually, this is a shifted payout already. So I'm not going to bet this because it's 0.85 lower. It's not actually a good payout. So we're going to move over to Jackie Young instead. Under 27.5 PRA. All right. Cool. And then let me pull up one of the, I use a couple different things, guys, for DFS. One model that I like to use is over on the Juiced Bet Discord. Trev and Mitch over there, awesome dudes. And I do like to play, I do utilize their model. And when I'm making some DFS slips, no doubt about that. So this is going to be a modified, half DGF, half Larry model type of play here that I'll share with you guys. We'll go here, do this. And all right, so if you guys want to rock this slip, I'm going to drop this in the chat. Ken, good morning to you, my friend. Anthony, no doubt. Appreciate you, my friend. All right, so let's go back. Let me hit the generate button once more. Also, guys, if you just want to go by sports books, right, we could do that. So if people are here and they're just like, yo, dude, just show me some better slips. Right now on Better, we have one 5-man entry. I can't share the slip with you guys. I would play 5-man slips on Better. That's for any slip that you play on Better, 5-man with insurance is the best. 5-man with no insurance is the second best slip. But I cannot play collegiate player props over on Better. And this is like 4 of the 5 picks. So I'll just kind of pause here for anyone that's playing Better. You guys can rock this. Then we'll take a look at Fliff. And we'll take a look at Dabble as well. Then we'll jump over to the Fantasy Optimizer with OddsJam. We'll take a look at DraftKings Pick 6. Maybe take a little peek at Owner's Box. Kind of bop around to a couple different ones. But, okay. There we go. Gamer says, hey, on the new Sharp Money tool, which we'll be taking a look at here in a few minutes, do you want a minimum liquidity threshold? Yeah, Gamer, I saw obviously saw your comment. Just haven't got a chance to respond back. But, I mean, Alex just seems like he takes whatever regardless of liquidity. Yeah, I mean, it's everyone's going to be a little bit different with this. I think there's liquidity that you need to keep in mind. So if you are, and it's a great question to ask. So if you see that the Sharp Money tool is like, yo, you should bet the Patriots at plus 7.5 because there's, $7,000 liquidity over on no vig, I think that's a terrible play. I like the plus 7.5 in terms of the key number, but in terms of liquidity, Pinnacle's taking at this point of the week, like right now, they're probably taking $30,000 to $40,000, if not more, on the Patriots spread. So you got no vig taking $7,000, Pinnacle's taking like 30 to 40K. So I wouldn't pay attention to the Sharp Money tool there. Let's pull up. What do we got? Anything for Dabble? Nothing for Dabble here at the moment. How about Fliff? Yeah, we got a Fliff play. God, I missed that I don't have Fliff anymore. So this is, just real quickly, if you guys want to rock 2-pick entries, these are 2 different 2-pick entries, and then you're probably going to see the 6-pick slip up above. But for player props, if, let's say, we're being recommended to bet Freddie Peralta under 14.5 outs, and someone over at No Vig has $12,000 liquidity posted, well, we know in general, even on game day today for Freddie Peralta, FanDuel might take, I don't know, maybe 2, maybe 3,000. That's being probably a glass half full outlook. They're probably taking like $1,000, 1,500. So if someone has 12K on Freddie Peralta's under, then I'm definitely interested. Okay. If someone has $2,000 on Freddie Peralta's under on outs, I'm not as interested because it's not enough. So if you want to use like a multiplier effect here where For player props, it has to be at least 2 or 3 times as more money than maybe what FanDuel's taking as their limit, then that would be something you could definitely incorporate, right? Just providing different options for you guys, different ways to think about this, right? I like to use a flat unit staking system, okay? If you watch all of Alex's streams and if you're keeping track of all of his sharp money plays and the dude's, knocking out 9 to 12 of these as winners, then maybe, just disregard everything I just said and just follow that. I'm all about trying to keep things as simple as possible, but I'm also all about trying to find something that can systematically work for you so that you can just copy and paste the strategy again and again. But I'm definitely big on just using unit sizing here. Figure out what one unit is to you, and then figure out what your threshold is. Okay, for player props, if I see sharp money that has $5,000 or more in player props, I'm putting a unit down. If it's below $5,000, I'm putting a half unit. Or if it's below $5,000, I'm not playing it. If it's above $5,000, I put a half unit. If the sharp money tool for player props is above $10,000, I put a full unit on it, right? There's not going to be a right or wrong here to it, but you're just going to want to figure out kind of your own system to see what works best. That's what I would say. Aaron, no, Bet365 is not gone. Bet365 has obviously disappeared from OddsJam for at least the last month and a half, maybe 2 months. And I know that OddsJam is working very hard with Bet365 to try to come to a solution. And that's pretty much all I could say about it right now. I do expect it to return in the future. And in the future, I would say by the NBA season. That's what I'm hoping for. Same with my bookie XBet and BUSR. But scraping all I know is scraping Bet365's odds is very difficult. And I would love to hear from you guys. If anyone out there that doesn't use OddsJam, are you able to see any plays for Bet365 from any of the other sharp software tools? Would love to know. No, Steven, I'm not a part of the negotiations and what goes on behind the scenes. So I don't have a timetable. If I had one, I would definitely tell you, but I'm not privy to that type of information. I just know that it's not dead. It's not like it's never coming back. OddsJam is, this isn't something in terms of a scraping type of thing. This kind of goes up the ladder above my pay grade in terms of, OddsJam working on trying to get Bet365 back on the software. So that's the best answer I can provide you. 3 pick slips over on DraftKings. Again, passing attempts has been the hot thing for the NFL since, the NFL's gotten back and going again. So we're looking at under 32.5. I'm totally fine with this. Pinnacle's at 31.5. Same with FanDuel. Pinnacle and FanDuel have the same odds. And so I like Drake May under on his passing attempts. Jared Goff, little different story here. Pinnacle sees this at plus 104. So I would imagine that their odds at 31.5 would be similar to FanDuel. So I don't like this Goff play. Even though I like the game script for this, I could see the Lions being up a lot and just running the ball on the Bengals. I could see that happening. The Hive, it has the only software I know that still pulls it. God, appreciate that, Steven. Appreciate you sharing that, man. Yep, no problem, losing streak. No problem. I understand if you're doing a trial, you want to obviously maximize it, and that's, appreciate you stopping the stream and asking those questions. So the under 30.5 on Cooper Rush. Yeah, it's pretty much probably the same for me. Really not too interested in that. Patty Mahomes, I'm a little bit more, so I'm interested in May, and I'm interested in Mahomes. And who else? Not interested in betting Nick Chubb's over. I think the Max or Mark's rookie, I think he's going to be taking over a lot. The under 31.5 rushing and receiving yards for Justice Hill. Not really crazy there. Earn runs here. Pinnacle's at minus 151 on Freddie Peralta. I don't know if you have to make these same day, guys. I'm going to try to cook this run up right now on my slip. But I like this a lot. I also just like betting unders on baseball in general for playoffs. For the most part, it's a pretty goated strategy. If you look at all the games that have been played thus far in the postseason, if you would have just bet the unders on those games, you're probably going to have a very high success rate. Not always going to be the case, but I do like it. So let's look at Freddie. In general, guys, for college, yeah, so we can't switch sports. Okay, so yeah, there's my answer. I didn't really know. There's my answer. So we got to keep this NFL related. So if I had to pick one, can I go down to anything else? Can I go to just a league here? Let's go to NFL. Drake May, Mahomes. This Jackson Dart rushing attempts. It's great to pinnacle. It's kind of hard not to go on Jackson Dart, but like, did you watch Jackson Dart play last week? And now they don't have Malik Neighbors. Like, I got a tough. I would like really not. I mean, I got to keep an open mind that things are unpredictable here, but like, I'm not really in on that. I'd rather go Bo Nix. I guess I'd rather go Bo. So Bo, Drake, and Patty Mahomes. That's the play for me, guys. So we're just going to go over to passing attempts. These are all passing attempts. So if you guys don't know, I'll put this up on the screen so you guys can see that it's a little easier. And I like this just a little bit more. So we're taking 2 unders and an over here, Bo and Drake May and Patty Mahomes. So Bo's over. And watch Jackson Dart get like exactly 7 rushing attempts. But that's just how it goes. We want Drake May on his under, and then we want Mahomes. I can't bet Mahomes because it's the Monday game, dude. I do this every single week, guys. I swear I do it every week. Every week I do this. Yeah, gamer. So the thing that I will kind of state to everybody is, outside of Steven saying be better, if you see a lot of other places that don't have Bet365 right now, it's a universal problem with Bet365. That's what I can definitely glean into. Is this isn't just this is kind of an industry-wide thing with Bet365. So, all right, so we can't do Mahomes. All right, then I'm going to go against my bet. I'm going to do the Jackson Dart because I do like the price at Pinnacle. I'm just like, the guy runs a lot. It's rushing attempts. It's just not something that I'm like super excited about. But we will throw this in there for Jackson Dart. Where's it at? Less than 7.5. This is a 3-pick entry. And I'm going to go in for a $25 spot. Okay. There we go. Pick 6. Got that. Take a little screenshot. There we go. All right. We spent a lot of time on pick 6. We'll come back. I'll also show owner's box for anyone that's using owner's box. 6-pick. Okay. This is a pretty easy sign for me, guys. Though we can kind of try to peruse this. If the 6-pick entries on owner's box are the best odds, and it's by a couple cents, right? And I would maybe want to go at -122 for 3 picks instead. You're going to have a really difficult time probably finding this. Now, I do like this Kendre Miller play, just personal opinion. I think Kendre could have a good game tomorrow. He could hit this over. The yellow exclamation mark, it probably is just an indicator, meaning that you already have something going on with a play and that you just want to know, right? So the yellow exclamation mark means that, like, hey, you have some type of other bet on this game. It's not necessarily conflicting, but that's what it is. If you see like the red triangle, like the yield sign or the stop sign there, that means that this bet that you're about to look at is a conflicting bet to something you have. Meaning you bet the over on LeBron on his rebounds, and it's telling you, and the bet that you're looking at is betting LeBron's under on his rebounds. That red symbol means you already bet the other side of it, so it's a conflicting bet. The yellow sign just means that maybe you have Luka over on assists and you're looking at LeBron on his points. And it's just like, hey, you have just another bet on this game. A couple of newer tools that have been unveiled to OddsJam recently. The Deposit Optimizer, guys. This is just a great tool where you can pick what state that you live in, right? So up here at the top, you can just select what state or country that you live in. Pick it here. There it is. For those of you that are asking out there in the world, we do have Australia, Mexico, and Brazil. For South America, we don't have a lot of options at the moment. Obviously, in Canada, we have almost every option. And then for Europe, we have some different options for Europe as well. You can try other European countries if obviously you don't see your country in Europe, but you can check that out. But for South America, guys, we don't have a ton, just Brazil and Mexico right now at the moment. So you come over here to the Deposit Optimizer, and I'm in Arizona, and I'm like, all right, well, if I have a $300 bankroll, like what should I put my money down on? And it's going to literally tell you put $160 on FanDuel, $140 on DraftKings. If I have a $3,000 bankroll, now it's going to give me 6 books that I want to take a look at. And this is all based off OddsJam. I'm looking at the betting opportunities through its historical data on its software, telling you like, hey, this is like where you should put your money. This is where you're going to get the best bang for your buck. $30,000 bankroll, then obviously you see a lot of other plays pop open. I got to get up and running with UWager for sure. That's one book that I don't have. I would not recommend using BetWhale as a global sports book. Just my 2 cents of what I've used it. I wouldn't recommend using it. The other new feature that we have is Sharp Money. So I'm going to move myself and make myself a little bit smaller. And there we go. No, Steven, I don't sync my bets. I haven't synced my bets on OddsJam in like 4 years. That's why on my dashboard, you see like WinBet, I have a balance there, and like WinBet closed up shop like 2.5 years ago. So I haven't synced it. You can, guys. I check I check every bet that I place every single night. So whatever bets that I place today, I literally check my bets before I go to bed every day. It's a habit. I make sure my accounting is on point. It's a good question, Steven, but I don't. I don't trust sports books to grade their bets correctly, and I don't trust the software to grade their bets correctly. I do my due diligence, and I make sure I check every bet that I placed, making sure that the numbers, the odds, everything's correct. So I'm very, very meticulous about that. Billy, quick question. Why do you love a lot of energy today? It's great. Why do you factor in your personal opinion on some of these plays? No, Kyle. I mean, listen, I didn't bet I didn't make a bet on Kendre Miller. I just kind of like him in that spot. That's all. I don't really bet my opinions. I want to bet my opinions. Like I didn't really want to bet Quinshon Judkins because I have the Browns at plus 4.5. So if the Browns are going to cover the spread, it's most likely going to be with Quinshon Judkins getting it done. But you know, I just throw out some of my opinions from time to time, but I don't ever bet my opinions. Very, very rarely. I used to all the time when I lost at sports betting, but not anymore. So like here's an example with Freddie Peralta on player strikeouts. So they're saying at the moment right here, the Pinnacle's limit is $150. So you can see that someone has $1,900 over on the over 6.5 strikeouts. And they're offering this on ProfitX at plus 143, meaning that this particular bettor wants minus 143 on Freddie Peralta over on ProfitX. So what OddsJam Sharp Money Tool does is it looks at all the other books and says, where can we find odds that are better than what this sharp bettor wants? And that's all it is. So we can get a great price over at SportsZeno or Bovada at minus 130 on the under on the strikeouts. LVG, how do you remove the bets off the Fantasy Optimizer? I mean, if you're clicking, I'm assuming if you mean by like when you're clicking the boxes, just uncheck the boxes, or any and everything else, you would have to go over to like your bet tracker. But if you're using that on your mobile phone, I'm not sure. You have to. Are you using the mobile phone or are you using your desktop? Losing streak. Yeah, man. So listen, losing streak. I'm always happy to go above and beyond for those to steer the stream in certain directions, but I only do that for channel members. So like for Demo, for like Ken, for Irish, for Anton, because they are channel members and they go above and beyond. You can go to my YouTube page, guys. I have a couple different options. That's a perk of being a channel member is actually you ask like, hey, I'm in California. Can you show me plays in California? I do that for my channel members. Starting at $1.99 a month to $4.99 a month. But for regular subscribers, guys, I don't specifically just change the entire stream just for you. That you have to be a channel member for that. And you guys can take a look at that on my YouTube homepage. You can just go under memberships and see that there. So if this Freddie Peralta play, I'm interested in betting Freddie Peralta. I don't like betting unders on strikeouts typically, but It's out there, right? You're going to see a lot of this for Freddie Peralta. But over here, guys, you can come over and look at the sportsbook screen. Click on the screen if you have access to it. It immediately is going to pull this play up for you, right? You could see FanDuel, Bookmaker. They're all at minus 157, minus 158 at the under 6.5. So getting this at SportsZeno, getting this over on, if you're putting together an epic slip, love that at minus 125. Bovada, this would be a really solid play. You could also come over to the actual event, and this is going to just automatically open up the event page for you, and you're going to be able to take a look at the under 6.5 and say, well, Bovada just changed their odds to minus 145. But guess what? Over at SportsZeno, I'm going to want to place this bet, right? So that's what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to log into SportsZeno, and I'm going to place this wager. You can also come over here, guys, and look at the line history. A lot of good things that you can see with the line history when it comes to this specific play. I just got SportsZeno set up out here in Arizona. I use them in Pennsylvania. So they were a very easy sports book to make money on. And so I'm just going to wait until I can get over. They have a lot of stupid free ads and whatnot. But shout out to SportsZeno. If you guys know, you know. I'll probably get limited on this book in like 4 days. But it's a good time. So this is definitely a play that we want to go after. Not just because of the sharp liquidity. It just seems to be just in general just a really good play. So over here on SportsZeno, guys, make sure you're in the green section. And I can zoom in a little bit more so that you guys can kind of see this. The green section is the actual cash. They have a massive menu. And we can go to pitcher lines. And then maybe not pitcher lines. It should be just player props. Let's go to main. Let's go to all. Let's go to, where's it at? Opening plays, game props, player specials. There we go. So we're looking at home runs, hits. Give me some strikeouts, baby. There we go. This is for actual players. So once again, like I need to go to, I guess, the pitcher lines. It's been a minute since I've used this. I'm not going to lie. Let's go to main. Singles, doubles, home runs. Where is this, bro? Where is this? All right, I'm going to pull this off to the side, guys, so you can see some other plays on the Sharp Money tool while I spend the next 30 minutes on this stream trying to find Freddie Peralta, which is always a fun time. Outside of Freddie Peralta, what about Justin Jefferson? Justin Jefferson, there's $2,100 over here. This is on his receiving yards. So we're being offered this on someone's really likes JJ's under. By the way, the Cleveland Browns have probably maybe the best defense in all of football. Truly, truly elite defense. Strikeouts by pitcher. There we go. Nope. That's by all pitchers. Strikeouts by Milwaukee pitchers. Again, I am finding every strikeout prop except for Freddie Peralta, which is crazy. There we go. Finally found it. Pitcher strikeouts. Whoop. Where'd you go, SportsZeno? All right, so we got this under 6.5, minus 130. I just have $100 here, so I'll just go ahead and throw this in for $100. And there we go. We're in on SportsZeno. As you can see, my balance here at the top went down to $7. So we're in for $100. Shout out there to SportsZeno. We'll click the plus button here, guys, and it just immediately pulls this up. And there we go. Appreciate you, Losing Streak. All right, so that's what we have. JJ, though, it's a better price over at DraftKings. You know, someone put up $2,000. Granted, this game's not until early tomorrow morning. But all I'll say is this. If you were early enough to wake up to watch the Steelers-Vikings game, and the Steelers have a pretty good defense. They're getting back into form. Cleveland has a much better, it pains me to say this, but Cleveland has a better defense than the Steelers, okay? And so if you saw the way Carson Wentz performed against the Steeler defense, how do you think Carson Wentz is going to do maybe against the Browns defense? Now, again, crazy things happen in sports all the time. Maybe Wentz throws for 404 touchdowns, but I'm gonna bank that there's a higher probability that Carson Wentz has a tough day and that the Vikings offense has a tough day. So as you can see here, guys, because this person on no vig has this they want this at minus 115 on the under 69.5. You can see that on the under here, you could get this at Onyx, DraftKings, or FanDuel, right? You could even get this over at no vig at -116. There's a couple different books that you can go after and grab this, okay? So a couple different spots that we can go and grab this JJ play if you wanted to go grab it. For me, I would maybe like to keep this a little bit higher in liquidity. They don't have Pinnacle's line posted yet, but obviously Pinnacle has just a lot less liquidity in general. Let's go over to the EV tool. Now let's go to the arbitrage tool first. For those of you that are new to sports betting, come over here to the filters button, right? For pre-match arbitrage, games that haven't started yet, $10, 10% max, don't have a minimum right now. Date ranges for today. Markets are main and player props. Main markets, player prop markets, right? For those of you that are new to arbitrage betting, you're likely going to see a return for pre-match arbs somewhere living between 2 to 5%. 2 to 5% is what you're going to see. Also, guys, this stream is going to go on probably a little bit later than normal, just because we have so much to get to today. And so if you guys are cool with maybe an hour 20, maybe at most an hour and a half, that's probably what's going to happen today. So we're just going to make sure we get to everything. So spend a little time here with arbitrage betting, right? More books that you have, the more money that you can make. Yeah, Irish. Were you able to grab your money out of the book? That's the only thing I'll ask you. If were you able to? And this is a very small book, Sportsino, so easy book to make money on. But were you able to pull your money out from your account? I was able to for myself. Make sure I'm catching up. Yeah, that's what he's saying. Irish saying was Sportsino sucks. All right, so let's see what we got. The arbitrage. We got some tennis matches today. To be fair, guys, okay, this starts at 8 o'clock tonight. So want to break this down if you're new to sports betting, okay? We're always thinking about the person. There are real human beings that work at these sports books, that live behind the desk, that are traders, that are paying attention to your account. And maybe they're not looking directly at your account. Maybe they're just handling like a couple hundred accounts or 1,000 accounts that they're in charge of. So if you are working at Bovada, and how many casual sports bettors on a Saturday night that are males are betting on a women's tennis match and they're betting an under? So the thing here with this ARB is this is a legitimate ARB that you could hit up, right? So DraftKings is going to see you're betting on an over on a women's tennis match that's at 8 o'clock tonight, okay? I don't know how many dudes are betting on a women's tennis match because this isn't Wimbledon. This isn't the U.S. Open. This isn't a major tennis tournament. This is some ranking, no offense, it's probably a smaller tennis tournament. So Bovada, you're betting an under on a women's tennis match that doesn't start for another 12 hours. And then you comment on my video and you're like, yeah, man, I got limited arbitrage betting. Now, maybe you didn't get limited on this play because I try to keep an open mind. But if you're betting women's tennis matches this early in the morning and you're betting unders, nobody does that. And it's a single straight wager. Nobody does that. So this is an ARB. You can hit this ARB up, but it's probably going to put you on the faster track to getting limited by the sports books, right? So what I would recommend is don't bet women's tennis. Maybe just come over here to leagues and say, yo, dude, I'm just going to bet NFL. I'm going to bet college football today, and I'm betting the MLB, right? That's all I'm doing. All I want to do is look for college football and Major League Baseball. That's all I want to do. You know why? Because that's what's most popular. You might be able to sneak in a couple niche bets on niche markets, and that tennis play is a niche market, in my opinion, because it's women's tennis. No offense to the ladies. It's not Wimbledon. It's just not a big tournament. So stick to baseball. Stick to football, right? Maybe we're not going to do player props over on Sportsino and Bovada, but you can, right? Stick to some total points. This would be a great play. Even though it's UM Monroe, these are odds that are very popular. This is -110, +120 odds. This is a play that it's not like we're betting on a -600 and +800 odds. This is a regular play. I like this. Honestly, I wouldn't bet this over at Hard Rock. I'd rather bet this at ProfitX, and I'd rather save my Hard Rock account, right? Because with arbitrage betting, you got to get 2 bets down on 2 different books. That's why everyone who starts at arbitrage goes over to positive EV, because you're essentially finding mispriced lines on 2 different books between Hard Rock and ESPN. You have to place 2 bets. Then you get limited because you have to place 2 bets on 2 books. And then you move over to EV betting where you just have to place 1 bet on 1 book. That's why EV betting can last longer than arbitrage, just because of the strategy itself, the foundation of the strategy. Most people don't think about this, but all they do is complain that they got limited because, we're picking off inefficiencies. These sports books have to screw up with their pricing in order for us to find some plays. I love how I start talking about arbitrage and I just immediately kind of get grumpy. I guess I'm just tired of seeing comments of people complain how you get limited. It's like, well, yeah, dude, you're not going to make money forever. So I apologize, guys, if I'm putting off any negative vibes right now. Old Billy C's got to check himself at the door. It's a wonderful strategy. It's just that people are kind of idiots sometimes when it comes to this. They just don't understand. And I understand that they don't understand. I just, this is a viable strategy that works. But I would honestly, on this play with UL Monroe and Northwestern, I'd rather bet this over a ProfitX because ProfitX will never limit you. They don't care. So I would rather do this than go through, what's the difference in this percentage? 0.03. Go take this over ProfitX instead. That's what I'd prefer to do. That's just kind of the strategy with arbitrage. So, stay away from the niche markets. I would even argue that maybe betting collegiate player props is kind of niche. And then just focus on betting Major League Baseball player props or betting just mainline markets for college football. That's what I would really go after. And if you guys don't have a lot going on today on a Saturday, then sit back, relax, and get ready to live arbitrage bet because this is where it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go over the EV tool. Let's kind of start off. Well, no, LV, ProfitX doesn't care because ProfitX's business model is different. They just take a commission off the winning bettor. So ProfitX doesn't care how much money you wager because ProfitX now reduced it. They used to take 3%. Now they just take 1% of the winning bettor. So the more money that's wagered on ProfitX, the more money that ProfitX makes. ProfitX doesn't operate like a normal sports book like FanDuel and DraftKings. It doesn't do that. I appreciate that. Irish says Arbine was awesome. The first month without any limits. EV is what's actually helped me learn how to wager with Billy. And I appreciate that, Irish. And there's a lot of great guys out there. Arbologist, our father, Alex, Cross. Some really solid dudes out there. Golden Pants, A-Train Station, Circles Off, Rob Pizzola. There's a Spanky. There's a bunch of dudes. A bunch of really solid dudes out there that I don't, it's not just OddsJam related, man. There's a lot of great guys out there that are really smart, really sharp. I'm trying to think if I'm definitely leaving out a lot of people right now, but there's a lot of great guys that are really, really sharp. All right, so let's kind of take a look and let's kind of step back first. We're going to go a little bit different scenarios here. First, again, guys, if you want to try OddsJam 1 week for free, save 35% off your first month. Use code Billy35 right here. You're going to get a 1 week free trial. You're going to receive 35% off your first month after the trial ends. Okay. Also for the Sharp Money tool, okay, use code SHARP50. So if you use code SHARP50, send that over to Randall. Talk to Randall, and this is where you're going to be able to receive an incredible discount off the Sharp Money tool. We're going to look at MMA first. We cashed yesterday's play. The fight went the distance for J.J. Wilson. Yo. We're going to look at some main markets here. And the date range is going to be for today. We have a really big UFC fight card tonight. I hope I should be able to get back in. I don't know if I'll be back in time to watch the main fight. We're going to use BetOnline as our sharp. And odds range, we'll go like a minus 200 to like a plus 200. And we'll see what we have. Okay, 11 options right now. Point spreads, guys, not a ton of money when it comes to liquidity with point spreads, but that's fine. And what we're looking for total rounds. Total rounds is something that I wager on quite a bit. And so you can see that Pinnacle's taking about $3,000 over here on this play. BetOnline is a book that I really like to use as a sharp. I'll first show the Santos play. But BetOnline is kind of my go-to as my guide, my reference when it comes to UFC and what's what. So if I'm looking at what? Joe Pfeiffer. And we're looking at what? The over 1.5? Yeah. So right now, BetOnline is taking $8,500. Okay. So to drive this point home, guys, the amount of liquidity available on a sports book is going to tell you how much confidence they have in a play right now. Okay, and I'll show you just real quick for those of you that like don't believe me, right? Because I always try to make sure that I'm very transparent. You can see the Pinnacle here. Might not be able to. I might have to zoom in a little bit. Pinnacle's taking $3,000. Okay, they're taking $3,000 on this play. So if I quickly just bop over, this might get me in trouble, but maybe not. You can see that over here on this play, $8,500 right here on the over 1.5. $8,500 is the max wager on BetOnline. So BetOnline is taking almost 3 times the amount of money that Pinnacle's taken on their UFC fights. So when I talk about sportsbooks having confidence in a play, who do you think has more confidence in their line? BetOnline or Pinnacle? The answer is BetOnline because they're taking almost 3 times the amount of money that Pinnacle's taking. You guys really should just sign up with a bookmaker or BetOnline account, even if you never plan on wagering on that book, because you can then have access to looking at the max wager limits over there. And that's going to help you figure out as a sharp bettor which book you should use to lean on when you have all these different options. What I mean by that is when you come over here and you go to DVIG settings and you have all these different sharp sportsbooks options, which one should you use? This is why I use BetOnline for MMA, because they take way more money on their MMA fights than Pinnacle does. If they're taking more money, I would have to presume that they're more confident in their lines. So betting this over at ESPN bets are a great play. Now I'm just going to go over to Bookmaker really quick. I like to double check, see what's going on. Make sure that I have everything correctly. So Bookmaker at the moment is taking $3,000 on this over. So Bookmaker and Pinnacle are taking the exact same amount. BetOnline is taking about 3 times the amount. So this is why I use BetOnline as my sharp. All right, so outside of this play, because I'm going to go grab this now, I would say similarly, right? If we're looking at total rounds, I don't really need to look at the liquidity. I know that BetOnline is going to take more money. So we're looking at this under over here on BetMGM. Yeah, I'm very comfortable with this. Very comfortable with this. All right, so I don't have a ton of money, but I do have about $60-some, unfortunately, only left over here at ESPN Bet. So we're going to go on the over 1.5 for this play. I love how my MacBook is not letting me type in this guy's name correctly. Just it's correct. Trust me. And this is the big one. So let's go. Yeah, let's go on this fight specifically. Okay. So over here, we're looking at total rounds. We're going over 1.5, and I got about $64. This is weird with ESPN Bet. They might only let me do let's just do $60. But there we go. So we're in for the over at $60 over at ESPN Bet. So I grabbed that one. Again, guys, I just don't tell you what to bet. I put my money where my mouth is. Unfortunately, if I'd have had more money, I'd have put more money in there for sure. Again, it's under 2.5. I definitely like this. Looks like ESPN Bet's sharing quite a few with total rounds. So same price here between all the sharp books have a similar price. You're getting a great price on ESPN on Sang-Yu and Santos under 2.5. I would bet that. Again, point spreads, they're not as liquid. Chase on here. Okay, this is Caesars or MGM. It's a lower EV percentage play. I'm still okay with it, though. Still definitely okay with this. So you could go over to, looks like, is MGM at minus 180? Yeah. Is MGM at minus 180? I'll have to double check this. So one thing that you guys can do here is I could say, all right, I want to take Chase on, and then maybe I want to take this under, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to create a little 2-leg parlay over here on MGM, right? So we know that over at MGM, no other sports book is really offering us this kind of combo, and no one's offering us out more money that we can put down on this play. So one way that you guys can do this, and we're going to jump over, don't worry, we're going to get to a lot today. So it's a longer stream today, but here's what we got going on. So the first thing you want to do is if you want to figure out, all right, Billy, I want to rock this 2-leg parlay, but what do I do here? Well, find out what the fair win percentage is. That's why I have this probability right here. So I can easily calculate my odds. All right, it's a 2-leg parlay. I need both legs to hit. That means I have a 29.44% chance of winning this bet. Okay, so if you come over here to the calculator here on Kelly and you open up this play, And we're receiving odds at MGM at plus 251. Okay. So plus 251 odds. So you just type in plus 251. We know that we're receiving a 29.44% chance. That's our fair win probability. If I'm using Quarter Kelly here, you can see I have about a almost 3.5% edge. They're telling me, yo, Billy, you should wager $100 of your bankroll on this. You should put 1/3 of 1% of your bankroll on this play. So what I'm going to come over here to do is just go over to MGM, and I'm just going to grab these plays. So we're going to grab Chase on the money line. Where's she at? There she is. Okay, and then we're going to grab this patchy mix, and we're grabbing the under 2.5 rounds. And let's see, round betting, nope. Total rounds, we're going under 2.5. Okay, pretty simple. And so now I know I'm just going to bet down here for this 2-leg parlay. I double check the odds. Plus 251 right there. Perfect. And I'm just going to say, all right, cool. I'm just going to bet $100 here. Now I got myself a little 2-leg parlay. Beautiful, right? Little 2-leg parlay over here. I throw in $100. I go click the plus sign. Bingo. It's added to the parlay tracker. And that's how you make parlays. And that's how you also figure out how to appropriately put the correct amount of money down on parlays. All right, next up, we got some Major League Baseball. So let's take a look at some Major League Baseball. What do we got cooking for today for MLB? We'll look at some player props, main markets. We'll get rid of MMA. This is for today. We'll look at all the sports books. Make sure we have all these selected. Cool, let's see the results. Top play. We're going to not use BetOnline. I forgot. We're going to use, let's use the DVIG settings. We'll use Pinnacle at the moment. Saw that Sanchez play pop up. Matthew Boyd, under 1.5 earned runs. This is a great play over a props builder. Now, Pinnacle's not taking a lot of money here, $250. But what sportsbook's offering us plus odds? There's only one sportsbook offering plus odds out of all the books. So that means I'm going to go ahead and go over and play this over on props builder because this just seems to be a great play. I'm going to come over here to BetDSI, and I'm going to make this over at BetDSI. Again, guys, you could use Rebet Props Builder, but you can use a lot of different ones to make this wager. Let me catch up on the chat. No problem, Richard. Richard, I know, I know just like Irish, I know my regulars. I know I'm kind of like the bartender, right? Like I know what my regulars like and I know what my regulars want. And you're a channel member. And I was like, man, it'd be nice if like Richard didn't have to ask for a UFC fight, right? So let's just kind of get into those first. We're kind of going backwards, depending on what you like for sports, but obviously there's a ton of college football. We're going to get into that. Don't worry about that. So over here on BetDSI, we're looking at Matthew Boyd, earned runs. Just come over here to baseball, right? We're on props builder. You can see a lot of books have this, and that's where we're going to find this play. So I can't make this wager, guys, on the stream, right? Can't do that because I get in trouble from YouTube. But I'm just going to flash the screen up there. We're going to earned runs. We're looking at Boyd. It's at plus 102. So you could just click the calculator and say, okay, it's at plus 102. I should wager a ton of money on this play. Probably more than what their limits are. Their limits are $485. I only have $445. That's a lot of money. Okay, we're going to take a little bit reduced, but we're still going to go deep here. We're going to go for a 250 spot. Oh, they just changed the odds to minus 112. Now minus 114. So this play's dead because they just moved these odds. So RIP Matthew Boyd. I worked too slow, guys. If I was faster, it would have been better. Oh, Matt Shaw, bases, not to get one. Guys, I'm limited on Fanatics. I've gotten limited on probably like 5 Fanatics accounts. I still will go and bet this all day long. They might let me get like $20 down. Literally could buy me Chipotle if Matt Shaw just doesn't get on base today, right? So I'm going over here to Fanatics on my phone, and I'm placing the bet here. I can't share my screen with this phone because it's an old iPhone, but total bases, we're going over-unders. And we're betting the under here on Matt Shaw. It's at minus 110 odds. I'll just literally bet. It's now minus 105. They just moved the odds to minus 105. If they let me bet, so I got some boost on Fanatics. They're letting me bet 26.25. I could take this, or for a max $25 wager, I can get a 50% boost, which is really nice. And see if they'll let me bet the full $25 with the boost. They normally do. They do. So I could bet $26.25 on match shot minus 105. Instead, I'm just going to bet the $25, but they got a nice 50% boost over here. And so I'm just going to take this odds boost. And now I'm getting this play at plus 142 odds. So I'm going to get paid out even more than if I would have put down 26.25. Little things like that, guys. Put a little bit more money in your pocket. So I love that. That's where we're using the boost over at Fanatics, guys. Right? $25. Get this boosted. I might make, $35 in profit. I don't know. It can get me Chipotle for probably 2 days. I'm cool with that. Matthew Boyd on the hits allowed, though. The under. This is over at Bet Openly. Only $10 here, guys. This would be a play I'd go grab. Player bases, Alec Boehm, over 1.5. Again, Pinnacle's not taking a ton of money on this market. Let me take a look at Bookmaker. It's nice that I'm already logged into all these books. Let's take a look at this play with the Dodgers and the Phillies. As a lifelong Dodgers fan, wink, wink. Let's go Dodgers. I'm already kind of an anti. So Bookmaker's taking $500. So if you want to go with Bookmaker's odds here, guys, this is still 20 cents off to the market. You can go ahead and grab this. As a Penguins fan, I despise Philadelphia. So don't like them at all. They booed Santa Claus. I've met some nice people from Philadelphia in general. If I go, it's the one city where if I ever go to a game in Philadelphia, I literally just wear a gray shirt with nothing on it. Just a plain gray shirt. That's it. I don't wear anything else. Because like Philadelphia fans, from what I've seen online, they will mug you, they will throw crap at you, they will boo you, they will punch you, they will fight you. Philly, they're greasy scumbags. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. You did it to yourself, Philly. Over on Jackson Churio, player bases. So here's the only problem here. If we're using liquidity, and if anyone's from Philly, we can have a healthy discussion if you think that your fans are the nicest people in the world, because I highly disagree. Cubs and Brewers, we got to give some hot takes every now and then on the stream. I don't think that's too hot of a take, though. So the problem here with Jackson Churio is if we wanted to go bet this over on Bet Online, or Bookmaker, excuse me, they're taking $625. Pinnacle's taking $250. So I don't really like this. And then FanDuel thinks that this over is at minus 130. So I just disagree with Pinnacle here. I'm not going to bet Pinnacle on Jackson Churio. On the player outs, another Sports Zeno play. Also, if you guys are rocking parlay play, do that. Demo says, I can attest, Philly fans are the worst. If there is a Philly fan in here, I got a good friend of mine. He's from Philly. He's a big Eagles fan. Nice guy. He's not from downtown Philly, though. And he's also a rational human being. Most people, though, in Philadelphia, they're screaming at the television. I would say my assumption of Philly fans, and again, this is coming from a Penguins fan, so I hate the Flyers with a passion, is that most people that watch sports from Philadelphia probably are screaming at the television thinking that they could coach better than Sirianni. And Sirianni's went to 2 Super Bowls and just bagged one last year. They think that they know more. They think they know ball more than Sirianni does. That's my assumption of Philadelphia fans. They're just screaming at the television thinking we're smarter than Nick Sirianni. So I just think they're all idiots. Mookie Betts over 1.5 plus 132. So this is 17 cents off to Bookmaker. And again, if you guys, now that we know what we know, guys, all right, well, we not if you didn't know this, but all right, Bookmaker takes more money. If you want to use Bookmaker as your sharp, then do that. Nico Horner, hits, runs, RBIs. This is a market that Pinnacle doesn't offer, guys. It's a market that I like to wager on quite a bit. Hits, runs, RBIs. This is a good one. Kyle Tucker, looks like everything's kind of getting changed. Let's refresh these. If this is gone, then let's just hide this bet then. All right, I don't want to see this specific play. Same with the Tucker play. Real quick, because I'm already on Props Builder. George Kirby, over 4.5 hits allowed. Pitcher for the Mariners. Okay, so then here's the other assumption that you can make, right? That I don't like this play. So here's another reason why I wouldn't like this play. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean right or wrong. If you disagree with me, no problem. But as I come over here and I'm taking a look at George Kirby on his hits allowed. So bookmakers at plus 105. They're only taking $250. What do you notice here on PrizePicks? Someone's allowing $2,000 on the plus 129. So again, similarly to sharp money, if you believe that someone on PrizePicks is really smart here, they're putting $2,000 down on this market. We can only bet $250 over on bookmaker. So we're talking a fraction of the price. So that would say, you know what, where can I get the minus 130 at? Oh, I can get this over at Sportsino. Maybe we bet George Kirby on his under, right? There's two different strategies you can go here with, okay? Number one, you can lean on the EV tool. This is a very unique play with the EV tool where you would say, well, we're just getting great odds compared to bookmaker. Well, bookmaker's only taking $250. So if you believe in the sharp money strategy where someone has $2,000 down over on PrizePicks, then I go bet the under at Sportsino, right? Zig when everyone else zags. PCA, hits, runs, and player hits, runs, RBIs on the under. So we're thinking PCA is going under. Now, he did not have a very good series against the Padres. We peeped the liquidity books. Not much at all. So there's a lot of books that you can get this down on, and bookmaker just disagrees here. But again, bookmaker also just fell off a cliff about 10 minutes ago. They were at plus 105. They were at plus 122. They're now at plus 105. So you can go to various different books to get this play. I'm probably going to go grab this. Look at this. Look at all the books kind of adjusting. I would still go over to Bet Online, which I'm logged into right now. And I'm just going to go put the max wager that I can over here on PCA. This might be, or unless this is Props Builder, but let me just go see this really quickly. Outside of PCA, guys, we got some other plays here that you can kind of peep. But again, this is where just kind of doing your research, paying attention. Pay attention to those exchanges, guys. It's all about becoming a smarter, sharper sports bettor. And you really want to know what you're in for when it comes to this. It's a tough one for me over on. This is a tough one for me for. This isn't on Props Builder, so this must be just on maybe Prop Shop. I don't know if this is a Prop Shop play or what this is. I got to take a look. It's taking me a minute just to find the hits, runs, RBIs for PCA. Let's look at batter props again. Cubs. Yeah, they don't have this. I don't know where this is. If you guys know where this is on Bet Online, help a friend out here. I might just go over to Bovada to grab this as well. Okay, so what else do we have here? Let's do a little refresh. Over 7.5 Cubs Brewers is at plus 100 odds. Again, there's only $25 here. This is 8 cents off the Pinnacle. I like that. I like this to all the sharp books, but there's only $25. So go grab that. Carson Kelly under on player bases. What's the exchanges at? Not seeing much here. Props Builder. We'll go grab this for Carson Kelly. Plus 105 odds. While I'm waiting to see what we have, I got, let's see, total bases from hits, Cubs, Kelly. All right, I only had $75 in my Bet Online Props Builder account, but we get that. We get that play at plus 104 odds. Just come over here and type in Props Builder. All right, $75. Okay, so there's one there. We talked about Freddie Peralta earlier. I bet this under over on Sportsino. Again, you don't have to do too much deep research. You see these on Sportsino. You see these plays on No Vig, guys. These are very low liquidity plays. You know, we talked about like, ooh, maybe sharp sports bettors are out there trying to get you. Not with this kind of money. Just go grab it. Ian Happ under on bases. So we're really projecting that a lot of Cubs players are going to have a tough day. So I'll just go over to Fanatics. And I don't really think twice, guys. If I see a play on Fanatics, I just bet it. It's pretty simple. I got another 25% boost here. So I'm going to take that on Fanatics as well. And I'm going to be able to get this at, they're only letting me bet 23.81 with this boost. That's fine. It's going to get this at plus 131 odds over on Fanatics, which is nice. We're in on Ian Happ as well. So a lot of Cubs hitters. Again, I'm on a lot of unders in general. Strikeouts. Normally FanDuel's my GOAT when it comes to strikeouts. You can see that Bookmakers has this way higher though compared to FanDuel. We're on the under 3.5 strikeouts. Brewers are a better team in terms of not striking out a ton. I don't mind this, actually. Normally, FanDuel's a sharp for me that I use for betting strikeouts. I'm going to log in over here. I like this price. Again, someone has $1,200 on no vig. They want you to bet the over. So that means someone wants you to take the under. They want the under. So, yeah, that's some confirmation there. I like that. Let me log in off to the side here on my FanDuel. And do I have any money in here? Yeah, I only got about $59, which kind of stinks. But, all right, we'll grab this. Matthew Boyd. Pitcher props, strikeouts, under 3.5. We'll just put whatever I got on here. It stinks. I'm out of money on FanDuel. I got to get some more money in there for sure. $59 on Boyd on his under. All right, let's take a look at some college football plays. Let's see what we got. Jack Does Magic says, Eagles fans threw a beer at me after the Commanders-Eagles game in D.C. last year. Not surprising. Not surprising. It's really, it's like, Philly fans, like, we'd love for you guys to be a little bit more accommodating to us, but you guys literally just lean into your scumbagness, right? So it makes it really easy to just say what I said. Pinnacle, and let's look at Bookmaker, because Bookmaker typically takes a little bit more. And let's look at some mainline plays for college football for today. That's pretty much it. Okay. So what we're specifically looking for here with college football, we're looking for line movement from sharp sports books. That's what we want. So if I'm looking at South Alabama, again, there's only $75 here, guys. Go grab this. I don't mind it. Now, Bookmaker's a little bit out to lunch in terms of like how they feel about this play compared to everybody else. But again, this is 8 cents off to Pinnacle. It's 11 cents off to Circa. I would just bet the South Alabama play. Don't think too much about it. Eastern Michigan and Buffalo. Again, this is a pretty easy. It's not as easy because Pinnacle's at $5,000. So where are we at here in this Buffalo play? So we're looking at football here for Buffalo, Eastern Michigan. The under 52.5. Pinnacle's taking $5,000. Bookmaker is taking $5,400. So to be fair, they're pretty much the same at this point. And now this is a pretty big difference of opinion. So is there $400 isn't enough for me to be like I lean one way or the other. There isn't any movement from these books. So in general, I'm probably just going to stay away from this play. I have two sharp sports books giving me conflicting odds. I'm just not going to touch it. Right? Some of these plays like on Wake Forest, Florida, Wake Forest again. These are liquidity under $100, guys. Just go bet these. You're going to have a good time. Trust me. All right, so let's look at some point spreads here. Eastern Michigan. Same with Old Dominion. Like this is $944. I'm not worried about Old Dominion. Pinnacle and Bookmaker have very similar odds on these plays. Well, not too similar, a little bit off, but still 7 cents off to Pinnacle. I'm totally fine with Old Dominion minus 20.5. It's kind of a key number there. They win by 21. I like that. Eastern Michigan plus 8.5. Over here on Bookmaker, they're taking $21,000. So here's where it's a real big difference. We see for total points, Bookmaker and Pinnacle are pretty similar thus far. For point spreads, it's a massive difference. Eastern Michigan plus 8.5, $21,600 Bookmaker's taking compared to $10,000 on Pinnacle. So I have more confidence in this line. Again, this is a plus odds play. Take Eastern Michigan plus 8.5. It's a kind of a dead zone spread number, but I still like it. Still like this. Grab that play. I'm cool with it. Notre Dame minus 21.5 against Boise State. Let's see if this is staying true when it comes to the whole spread difference between Pinnacle and Bookmaker. So Bookmaker on Notre Dame minus 21.5. They are taking $32,400. Pinnacle's taking $10K. Bookmaker is taking 3 times the amount of money on this Notre Dame spread compared to Pinnacle. use Bookmaker for point spreads. This is where, guys, if you're paying attention to what I'm saying right now, here's what I would do. I would just come over here. I'd say, okay, Billy, I don't want to go plus 200 odds. But you know what? I'll go minus 200 to a plus 140 range. Let's go with a minimum of 2% EV edge. We know we're going with Bookmaker. I forgot to use worst case. Let's use worst case instead of power. Power is not that bad. It's okay. And then let's just save this filter. And then let's go back. Sorry, one more thing. And then let's go to markets and let's just clear everything out. And let's go to point spreads. Right? Now we're going to go to point spreads. And now I'm going to say, okay, point spread, Bookmaker. Now we know. Now we save this. Bam. Now we got a filter that I can literally come over to my save filters. And where's it at? I just should have just saved it. Point spread, Bookmaker. College, maybe I put in NCAAF, right? I rename this, and then I go, bingo. Piece of cake. Now we know Bookmaker is taking way more money on point spreads than Pinnacle is. That's the sharp book that we want to use. And we simply just look at these plays that pop up. I know I'm on Minnesota, aren't I? I'm on Minnesota plus 24 at minus 110. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. So these are little things, guys, that you can use. If we know that Bookmaker's taking way more money than Pinnacle is for point spreads for college football, create a separate filter and then just refresh it. It's pretty simple, right? Now, maybe for point spread, for total points, maybe it's a little different story, right? Maybe we say, you know what? We can use Pinnacle and we can use Bookmaker for total points, and we can just take a look at that there, right? And say, okay, there we go. Let's see the results. Fanatics, Campbell against NC State, over 59.5. Pinnacle's not taking a lot of money here. Again, this is still 8 cents off to FanDuel. I don't mind if you want to bet this over on Fanatics. Again, I don't really overthink the Fanatics stuff too much. Bet the under on Vanderbilt in Alabama. There's only $62 of liquidity here. I'm totally still fine with this. You could do the same thing over here on ProfitX. Kalshi, 42 is a very important number. I will say that. But bookmakers, this is 9 cents off. I'm going to go over to Kalshi. I always screw up my bets on Kalshi, but it is what it is. If you guys don't know, I'm just going to log in here and then check this out. Kalshi, guys, is a trade predictions market. It's all the same thing. It's just that they are in better graces with the CFTC. So we're looking at the over 42.5 at even money. OGM's telling me about $100. So you come over here. We're looking at Northwestern, UL Monroe. So you just come up here to the top and just type in Northwestern, Louisiana Monroe. And then we're looking for points. 42.5. We want the yes. We want the over. Right now it's 48 cents. I probably have to pay a small commission. And OGM's telling me to bet how much? $100? I'll bet a little bit more. I'll go 125. Submit this. Bam. Over 42.5 points. We're in over here on, if the payout, you could see, all right, so it is a correct payout. So 125 gives me a payout of 251 actually, so it's a little bit above that. So there we go. So there's Kalshi. We bet the over there, guys. Again, more sports books, more trade prediction markets, more money you can make. So there we go. We're in over on Kalshi on this over. It is a key number, but we'll test it out. We'll see what happens. Is this real? Syracuse SMU on Bet Now. This is a global sports book. Oh, yeah. If this is real life, then go bet this under on Syracuse SMU. No doubt about that. Penn State, UCLA. I got Penn State minus 25. This worked against me a little bit. Okay. We'll see how that one goes. Same thing here with this Vanderbilt play. I got Alabama minus 10.5. That's looking pretty good at minus 110. Some of these play guys were given out courtesy of the Edge Zone. Shout out Edge Zone and their Matrix model, guys. Again, we talk about some different Discords. I'm a big fan of Edge Zone, so check them out. They offer a lot of really awesome tools, and I'm a big fan of what they offer. But if you guys want, try them out here. This is their core zone. This is their cheapest plan that they offer. It's at $97 a month. Check them out. Arbologist, Arb Father, that's their Discord. They give out a lot of great plays. I know Irish is in there. Irish can attest to if it's awesome or if it's garbage. I would say Irish would probably say it's been very solid for him. He's made money off it, but get a lot of access to a lot of great contributors as well that are going to be giving out different plays. So again, guys, using the personalized filters with OddsJam, this is kind of how you can really dive into certain sharp sports books using different books. There isn't a one-size-fits-all type of approach. So as we come back over to the DGF optimizer, let's kind of see what we got. What do we have here? So we're talking about Fliff earlier. We just got them loaded up right now. These are 2 parlays that you could rock over on Fliff, 2 2-leg parlays, and then I'll show the 6-leg parlay. Tomorrow, we will be live, same time. Not like last week when I was in Pennsylvania, a little bit different story here. 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. We'll be looking at specifically just player props. Only player props for the NFL. I do not bet money line spreads or totals. It's very rare if it happens. It might happen a couple times a year, but for the most part, 99% of my bets are player props on Sunday mornings. I get all my money line spreads and totals bets in early in the week, Monday through, I'd say, Friday. Probably Monday through Thursdays when I bet my spreads and totals. Here's that 6-pick entry if you guys want to make this one massive 6-pick entry. Just under 4% edge. Again, I would put 1/10 of a unit, maybe 1/4 of a unit max on this 6-pick slip. All right, top slips right now. We got some games that are upcoming soon. Here's a 3-pick slip on Dabble and a 2-pick slip over here on Underdog. Only play this on Underdog if you can play collegiate player props. All of these are collegiate player props, but so if you live in a state like me, I can't play college props. I can on PrizePicks, but can't anywhere else. But check these 2 different slips out for Dabble. These are very high EV edge plays, courtesy of the DGF AI slip generator. Definitely love that. We'll give this a few more seconds, guys, and then we'll jump over. Demo says, since sweepstakes are banned in my state, I'm hoping no Vig PX turns. Same here, Demo. And I can honestly say, Demo, at least what I've listened to from the Golden Pants Risk Takers podcast, it just seems like that's the movement no Vig is going to head into. They've raised a lot of money. It seems like they'll head into as a trade predictions market. So for someone like anyone that lives in Arizona like I do, or if you live in a state where no Vig has kind of gotten shunned, I think that we could see no Vig. There's definitely going to be a movement, right? Of it's all the same thing. They will be applying for it. It might take a little bit of time for them to get the approval, but I can definitely see them operating in that manner in the future. That's just the move. I think the sweepstakes model is, a lot of the states are catching on, and they just don't want it around. Particularly the states that have regulated legal sports books. So where you're seeing this massive sweepstakes ban, guys, Arizona has the regulated legal books. We have FanDuel, Caesars, MGM, DraftKings, right? If you live in a Texas or a California where it's not regulated, where there isn't legal sports books yet, that's where the sweepstakes sports books really thrive. That's where they want to live. Obviously, in other states like Pennsylvania, where my home state, you can still play the exchanges and you can still play some of the flips and the rebets. But some of the other states, unfortunately, New Jersey, Arizona, can't do so anymore. Yeah, no doubt about that, because it really just offers a lot of great options. Okay, outside of this, is there any other? I'll get back to this PrizePicks entry. What's the best PrizePicks slip? This is still over 3% edge. If you guys want to grab this one, I'll grab it for sure. This is copied and pasted. Make sure, guys, I'm just going to double check to make sure. Do we have any like MLB plays, any NFL? Like, I'm looking for free squares, basically. That's what I'm looking for. It doesn't look like we have any of that. So that kind of stinks. Okay, power slip here. I will go with a $25 slip here. All right, there we go. 3-pick entry. And then what I'll do here is I'll leave this up and I will share this with you guys. All right, there's the link to that 3-pick slip if you wanted to rock this. Derrick Henry under. It could happen. They need Derrick Henry tomorrow, but Texans have a pretty good defense, in my opinion. They're not bad. They're no Cleveland Browns defense, but they're pretty good. It's a lot for me to say, by the way, to give a lot of props to Cleveland in any capacity for sports, but Cleveland does have a very good defense. And as a man who appreciates good defense, can't leave that out. Here's that 2-pick. Here's a 2-pick slip over here on Fliff. We got UFC over on total rounds, which love seeing that. That means these dudes are going to maybe knock each other out, hopefully. And then Sal Frelick to not score a run today. And then we got a better slip. Again, we shared this a little bit earlier. We got some PGA. We got some NFL. This is a 5-pick slip on better. Yeah, we can get everything on the screen, which is awesome. But, guys, that's where I am going to call it for today. We covered a lot of ground. Questions, email me, DM me. And make sure, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, as we're pushing towards now 10,000 subscribers, which is a lot of fun. That's a fun thing to say. But appreciate everyone stopping by. Great chat. The chat was popping. Sorry if I sounded like an old grandpa that was grumpy earlier. Apologies about that. But thanks for everyone stopping by. We're back at it again tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, looking for NFL player props. Have an awesome Saturday, guys, and we'll talk.